Hello and welcome to the program Connect with Enoch. This is where I connect with people and we discuss issues of local, national, and international interest. And today I have a very wonderful young man, a young man that I see so much potential in him. And I met him way back, some few years ago. And this man is remembered for the voice that used to be played on one of the radio stations that now the president is using our money for free SHS. It used to be played every morning on radio, one of the radio stations. His name is Santi. Santi happens to be a former president of Ghana Nurse-midwife Trainees Association, that is GEMTA. He's the one that I have on the line. We're going to be discussing issues with concerns to what is happening with the recruitment currently going on in the nursing sector or the health sector for that matter. We look at it from 2016, 2017 up to 2024 or 2025. Santi, how are you?
I'm doing well, sir.
Quite a long time.
That's true. It's been a long time.
Happy New Year too.
Thank you, and many happy
the last I checked, you were not married. When I knew you, you were a single man. Now you are married with how many kids?
I'm married with 2 kids.
Wow. Oh, wow. That's no child's play.
Yeah.
A fast one. Hey. Oh, I see. I didn't even invite me for the wedding. Anyway, welcome to Enoch Connect. Yes.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right, let's discuss what is happening in the health sector. Um, there are rumors that it's all over. It's no more even a rumor. It's all over that the current government of JDM, that is the NDC, they've sacked the newly recruited nurses. The underlying word is sacked. Has this come to attention?
Thank you very much, and good morning to our cherished listeners and viewers of Enoch Connect.
Yeah.
I'm in the person of Batia Semi-ulah Santi, a nursing officer working at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital Surgery Department, and a former national president for Ghana Nurse-midwife Trainees Association, the year 2017-2018. Yes.
And also former NUCS presidential aspirant.
Yes.
How did that one go?
I went into the context last year. It went through a series of stages of which it was cumbersome.
I see.
We had a first election, but it was cancelled and it was rerun again. But after the second one, we couldn't make it. So we're planning for a comeback.
Oh, nice. Anyway, we'll go into that matter, but let's stick to the issue. Has it come to attention as far as the dismissal of these newly recruited nurses are concerned?
Thank you very much. I came across a communique from the Acting Director General of Ghana Health Service with reference to the directive of the Chief of Staff, Honorable Julius Debra, indicating that all those who have been recruited after December 7th appointment should be revoked.
Yeah.
I think the wording of the Director General's letter depicted same as directed by Honorable Julius Debra. However, this communique upon surfacing social media met some resistance from the professional group of nurses and midwives, that is the Model Union, Ghana Registered Nurse and Midwife Association, of which the union argued that these professional nurses and midwives, ideally financial clearance was issued to them somewhere August, and they made them to fill the portal with their credentials, and since then, the government sat with that processing and only had to conclude the process getting to the end of the year. So they are of the view that this post should not be dismissed. And a few days ago, the health minister, Honorable Akando, stated in Parliament saying that the HANZA should capture that no professional or health professional who have gone through the due process will be sacked.
Okay.
And at the moment,
so the key word is the due process.
Yes. Yes, due process underlined. Will not be sacked. So at the moment, none has been sacked, but we don't know whether they are going to do due diligence by auditing the process to find out people who are not qualified or didn't pass through the due process.
Once a
But at the
person,
moment, no one has been sacked.
once a person has completed nursing institution or nursing school and has also gone through the service, automatically the person qualifies, isn't it?
Yes.
So,
So,
what would be the problem or a challenge if such a person has his or her name among the newly recruited?
okay. So once you are done with you pass the license exams and you are done with the national service, you are qualified to practice. However, within the profession and over the years, the standard has been that when a year group complete, they are being attended to by being posted before their junior colleagues.
Okay.
So where we will have issues is instances where someone who is not part of the 2020 year group of nurses gets or finds his way to be part of the recruitment when ideally not all the 2020 year group of nurses have been catered for.
Okay. Okay. Let's go back into 2017. I mean, there were grapevines like that some nurses were going to be sacked and so on and so forth. How was the process like comparing that era? Because that was a period where you were also serving as the national president of the student body of nurses. Comparing that time to 2025, what has changed?
A lot has actually changed
Okay.
because way back when I was national president, the group I first saw to it that they were posted was the 2015 year group. They were my immediate seniors. I completed 2016. And the financial clearance that was issued for them came in their names, but it was towards the end of the year or the election period. So when the NDC left office and NPP came in, the then Health Minister, Honorable Kweku Ajimamenu, issued a letter that they were going to suspend the recruitment of those nurses and midwives and to an audit process, of which they suspended the process, and it took about 3 to 4 months before they were finally posted. And indeed, nothing fishy was found. But the difference with 2017 and today is that financial clearance over the years usually comes in the name of the student or the graduate who has successfully passed the license examination. But this time around, the clearance is issued in a blank manner. I'll use a blank check to
For the
describe the
purposes of the
process.
conversation, yeah.
Yes, for the purpose of the conversation. Now, the clearance comes in a form of a blank check. Then you now attach names or assign names to the clearance that has been issued. If government receives clearance of 15,000 nurses and midwives, now the Ministry of Health now said to decide who and who becomes part of this 15,000. Unlike previously,
Okay.
the list of
Okay.
the 15,000 nurses was usually forwarded by the Nursing and Midwifery Council, and that list is sent to the Ministry of Finance for the financial clearance to be generated in their names.
So it
Of
means
which,
that before you continue on, please, it means that at the time when it's issued, it comes with names.
yes,
But now it doesn't come with names.
exactly.
Okay, continue.
So this is the major changes that has taken place. And as a result of this, 2018-2019 year group of nurses who have been posted, we started experiencing a new trend where a junior who is not part of a senior year group finds his or her way to be part of that a particular posting that is being done because he or she is able to pay for the clearance or has a relation who has influence by ensuring that his or her name is added to the list. So the current recruitment that is in contention is the 2020 year group of nurses and midwives. And within the 2020 year group of nurses and midwives, we have some of them who referred but were able to write their exams in the same 2020 year group and they passed. Some of the universities also registered their students as part of the second batch of 2020, who ideally are 2020 year group of nurses, but still at home, not employed. But we have some 2021 and 2022 graduates who have been recruited as
But the
part of the current
2020 are
process.
still at home.
Exactly. So this is where the problem lies. And if due diligence is done, you would realize that someone will be part of this recruitment, but the person is not a 2020 graduate, but rather a 2021 graduate or a 2022 graduate. And how did the person get in there? There are two things involved.
Okay.
It's either the person paid for the financial clearance, which is a crime
Okay.
or an illegality, or the person has a relation who probably used his influence to get the said graduate to be part of the process. And that ideally shouldn't have happened in the first place if indeed these clearance were still coming with the names of the ideal candidates.
Wow. 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 Well, listener and viewer, thanks very much for joining us. This is Connect with Enoch, one on one with former JIMTA president, Mr. Santi. And he's giving us revelations, deep revelations, making us to know the difference between the recruitment process that took place in 2017 and also in 2024. And he's sharing a lot with us, and I believe you're also enjoying it. So it means that, as it stands, some of the 2020 batch of nurses, or let's say the referrals, are still at home. Whereas we have 2021, 2022, some of them being added to the newly recruited batch of nurses. Would that be accurate?
Yes, sir. That is the reality on the ground. As we talk, I am on a WhatsApp platform with this 2020 referral group. On daily basis, they are agitated, and we keep engaging so that we can find a way of letting their voice be heard. Now, the 2021 year group of nurses and midwives, I am on a platform with them too as a separate group, of which we are gathering their data and putting them together under a particular leadership so that we can always engage on their behalf. Now, some of them are alarmed because some of their colleagues have found their way through. Meanwhile, the majority of them are still in limbo. So this is the reality on the ground.
So you might have a case where someone completed in 2020, someone also completed in 2021, and you will end up having that 2021 becoming a senior instead of ordinarily becoming a junior to the one who completed 2020, isn't it?
Exactly. Because per our process, once you are recruited within the first 3 years, your first promotion, you are due for your first promotion. So imagine I completed school in 2020, finished service in 2021, sat at home 2022, 2023, 2024. For me to be part of this ideal process, my slot has been shortchanged with my junior colleague who finished 2021 and finished service in 2022. And all things being equal, the person should follow suit after I am gone. That person now gets the opportunity to get into the profession as a practicing nurse on the payroll. The person now automatically is a senior to you, the 2020 person. Because at the moment, you, the 2020 year group, don't even know when you are going to be cleared. So if it happens that there is no clearance being issued by the new government for the next 2 years, by the time you be getting to the job market in your first year of employment, your junior is now a senior nursing officer or a senior staff nurse. That is a 3 years rank ahead of you. And the person will continue to be a senior to you in the profession.
Unless you decide to upgrade as far as your education background is concerned.
You will even upgrade in your educational background. Qualification wise, you may hold a degree or a master's, but on the job, the promotion is subject to the yearly promotional process within the facility. So if you have your degree and they don't recognize the degree, that your junior is still ahead of you.
This
Because
is
when you start
very,
as a
very
staff nurse,
troubling.
yes. A diploma nurse will start as a staff nurse, a degree nurse will start as a nursing officer. Within 3 years, the staff nurse rises to senior staff nurse, and the nursing officer rises to senior nursing officer. And within 5 years, adding to the 3 years, making it in the 8th year, the senior staff nurse now becomes a nursing officer. Then the senior nursing officer becomes a principal nursing officer. But then, if in this period, if the John Mama administration happens not to recruit this 2025, 2026, they do not recruit, and they happen to start recruitment in 2027, you, the 2020 year group person who didn't pass through the current process, will now come in to start as a staff nurse, and your junior will be a senior staff nurse by then.
It means
and whatever you do, if you even go to do a top up and you get your certificate, once they didn't give you steady leave, that certificate will not be recognized. And if they are giving you steady leave too, you'll be granted steady leave after 3 years of working. So whatever be the case, the person is a senior to you now. And it's worrying.
Very. And what do you think, you being, I mean, how do you call it, a nursing officer, what do you think is going to happen at the workplaces, at the various hospitals, with someone having his or her junior, commanding him or her to do this and do that? What do you think is going to happen in such places? Aside hatred and so on, so what do you think is going to happen?
Sometimes there is power play here. There is power play. And the fact of the matter is that once the person is ahead of you in rank, as far as rank is concerned, you are expected to take orders or instructions from the person. But this is where sometimes we have issues of miscommunication and misunderstanding where someone feels that this was my junior back at college. And today this person is there giving me orders to be moving up and down. Apathy sets in. It takes only a matured mind to overlook it and just deliver, having in mind that patient first. But those who are not able to control their emotions, obviously there is going to be friction and the job delivery will not be smooth. And at the end of the day, the patient suffers, because imagine people working and they are not emotionally stable. You can imagine the level of mistakes that are likely to come. And at the end of the day, we are dealing with lives. And when any mistake occurs, someone's life is in danger. And these are issues of emotions. If they don't even vent out their emotions, where psychologists or senior officers within the workplace can identify the problem and call these people to order by guiding them, in silence, a lot will happen and it will affect the patient's quality care delivery that he or she is expecting.
And all these things happened under the NPP administration. Not sounding political, but it happened under their period.
Yes. For me, on daily basis, I always state that the profession first. I am a
Yes,
politician.
I've always known that. That I know.
Yes.
Because you did same
Yes.
with the Mahama administration, and then you did same with the Akufo administration. For that one, I know. So this
Exactly.
happened under the NPP administration. That is where my point lies.
Yes, it happened from the 2017 year group of recruitment, because we were the last group of people whose clearance came in our names. We the 2016 group of nurses, and we were employed in May 2019. So all recruitments after May 2019, the rest of the financial clearance that were coming were no longer coming with the names of the ideal people in the year group. And it was from that period where they started fixing in names who are not part of year groups, and has resulted to this problem. So it started in 2019 afterwards, after May 2019.
So currently, with what the present administration is trying to avoid by saying that there are some irregularities, and as a result, some of the processes will have to be halted. You will say that it's in the right direction.
Yes, it's a step in the right direction, because I am of the strong belief that if indeed you are part of the 2020 year group of nurses, there is no cause for alarm and there is no basis or grounds for you to be suspended or for your appointment to be revoked, there will not be any illegality attached or associated to you as a professional nurse if indeed you are part of the 2020 year group. But those who are part of 2021 and found their way through 2022 and found their way through, I have problems with that because we are breeding a different profession altogether. And these are the people that I believe, if due diligence is done or a proper audit is conducted, some of these people are those who will be fished out. That is the 2021 and the 2022 people who found their way through. They will be fished out. And if they are fished out, it is not a bad idea or a bad action.
You would not call it a protocol witch hunt or something like that.
I believe the system has to be sanitized so that we do what is right.
So by sanitizing means that we have to look at it and then see those who, merit and who those who do not merit to be there.
Exactly. Because at the moment, if let's say 500 clearance were issued to some of the 2021 and 2022 group, the 2020 group referrals who are home are more than 500. So it means that you just need something small so that it would have covered the ideal year group people. Why not attend to them first and then proceed with the others for them to also go with their colleagues? So that the 2021 too will not be cheated where 2022 person will come and find his or her way before the 2021. So today, if you are part of 2021 or 2022 and you are complaining that why are they sanitizing the system, the question I ask is that put yourself in the shoe of the 2020 graduate and ask yourself, if you were in 2021 and your junior finds his way ahead of you, how will you feel? And ultimately, this brings about friction, apathy at the workplace, and any misconduct or level of unprofessionalism with emotions attached puts the patient at risk. We are the very people causing the backlog as government. You keep doing this.
Where I'm coming to.
Yes. Yeah. You keep doing this, and the backlog is staying. There is no big deal if we say we have enough clearance to recruit all 2021 and 2020 together. If you are coming with that clear message that, okay, we have enough financial clearance and we want to clear backlog so that we know that we don't have any backlog again, and the current crop of people at home is 2020, 2021, and 2022. Let's say we have 50,000 clearance that can absorb all these people. In such an instance, we agree, and we all will come to terms that you want to do away with backlog so that we wouldn't have these issues again. So that when someone completes, the person knows that he's the only person awaiting and will be absorbed. That is a major decision you are taking to address backlog. But the idea of finding ways of getting juniors ahead of seniors, you are not solving the problem. You are worsening the predicament.
Interesting times ahead. Still one-on-one with Santi, former Junta president. Deep revelations as far as the recruitment processes are concerned. This backlog 10, let's look at it. It happened in 2017. It has happened now. It happened previously. Why this whole thing? Why do you think the politician would do that, in your opinion? Playing with the lives of people who honorably deserve to be on a payroll, but for some reasons they'll be delayed until a particular point in time that they will be allowed or be enrolled on a payroll. How do you address this whole thing about this backlog thing? Because this is a matter that has been there since Adam.
Okay, thank you very much. I think issues of backlog started way back 2017, 2018.
Okay.
And it actually, if we are being realistic to ourselves and looking at data, the actual administration, that is John Mama administration, left office in 2016. They were voted out December 2016. and the Akufo-Addo-led government took office in 2017. So as at the time the NDC government was leaving office, the last financial clearance they issued was for the 2015 year group of nurses. It means that if those people were duly attended to, there was not going to be any backlog, because the 2016 group of nurses were still doing national service.
Okay.
And that is my group.
Okay.
But we completed 2016 with the NAC and NAP. The NAC and NAP, that's the certificate, they do not do service. So immediately their results come, they have to be posted.
Okay.
So the 2016 nurses, nurse assistant clinical and nurse assistant preventive were not recruited in 2017. So it started, a backlog formation started. Now the 2016 diploma and degree nurses who finished service in 2017, meaning by the August or September 2017, we're done with service, we should have been posted. So we came to join the certificate nurses as a backlog for 2017. Our juniors who completed 2017 finished service in 2018 and came to join. The 2019 people who also finished service came to join after finishing their service. And it was now in 2019 that the first backlog, that is the 2016 year group, found their way to be recruited. And as they were now posting with the 2016 in 2019, our juniors of 2017 and 2018 were still there as a backlog. Then in 2020, they recruited again, and they recruited the 2017 and that of 2018. So I give credit to MPP for that particular gesture, because in 2020, they recruited two badges together in attempt to address the backlog. So they were able to recruit the 2018 and 2019 together in 2020. However, in 2021, they suspended recruitment again. In 2022, they came to recruit that of the 2019 year group. Then they didn't recruit again until this 2024. They came to issue financial clearance, which should cover the 2020. So politicians or government will give reasons for economic downturns and financial issues with IMF restriction, the International Monetary Fund restriction, and those stuff. Those may be some of the reasons they are giving. But I'm of the view that if we are not able to recruit because of financial clearance, Ghana has got a lot of trained nurses and midwives who have met international standards. And any nurse trained in Ghana who has found his or her way to the UK or the United States of America or the Ireland, ideally are doing well. They are top-notch professionals, of which we haven't had complaints that Ghanaian trained nurses are below standard. No, they are above or even up to standard. So I am of the view that we should look at innovative ways. In as much as we have this good number of nurses sitting at home, even we those in the system, we are fatigued. Because if you look at the nurse to patient ratio, it is very bad. My ward is a 34-bed capacity. A 34-bed capacity ward, and we have 4 nurses on duty. You can just divide 34 by 4. You realize that each and every one of us is attending to almost about 9 patients. And it is overwhelming. These patients are not able to get the best of care that they so desire. So what I am looking up to is that the government of the day should try its best to liaise with other countries that are in high demand of our nurses and midwives, so that we can export some of these nurses, then get some return to the government coffers for training these professionals, and for these professionals who find their way to have job opportunities in other countries can also earn a decent living and take care of their families, while the government in turn is earning some kind of returns or remuneration for spending in training or the cost of training of these professionals. And through that, the government can even earn more income to recruit others in the country, since we are financially constrained, hence making it difficult to recruit. This is the innovative way I believe we can. And since our nurses are quality or standard trained nurses, I believe that this will be a hot cake, just as the Cuban doctors are doing. In Cuba, you see that they train a lot of medical doctors and they send these medical doctors to other countries, of which Ghana is even a beneficiary. You go to the Philippines, they have a lot of nurses who have been trained. They have a lot of people in the ship industry. They are training them, and the people they train are even more than what their country can absorb. But they are training them purposely for export, while the country gains something in return. So I believe we can mimic a similar approach in Ghana here, and this will go a long way to address these issues of backlog and unemployment. Because the more you sit at home as a professional, you are more of a threat than a lifesaver. Because some of them become stale. It is not all of them who are able to find their way to getting part-time job or locum with some clinics to be keeping their skills up to date or sharp. So the rest who are sitting at home not doing anything, you have gone through training for 3 years and sit at home for 3 or 4 years. The number of years you sat at home not practicing is even more than the years you spend in training. Chances are high that you become stale.
Wow, that is a threat to national security, in my opinion. So it means that this whole thing started. Let's just say one created a backlog situation, that's the NDC, and the NPP also created an illegal system that presently is back, it's kind of biting us. That would be fair. I mean, because these two parties, I believe, have created this whole mess.
Yes.
And in my opinion, the nursing profession shouldn't have that, because this is a profession about saving lives. But yet, some way, somehow, these two parties have created a system that have, made it difficult for certain things to be done. Anyway, let's continue on. The whole thing about nursing allowance and so on and so forth, is it still on or is off?
Okay, so the nursing training allowance was introduced in the year 2017 after it was cancelled by the then Job Mama-led administration. And as they restored the nursing training allowance, it is expected to run for 8 months in a year, of which 4 months is always taken off. But previously, it used to be throughout the year. If you are on allowance, you are receiving the allowance for the whole 12 months. But the restoration of the trainee allowance under the Akufo-Addo administration was calculated to last for 8 months in each year. However, this allowance at a point started culminating into arrears. And there are still a good number of students from the year 2017 who have actually completed nursing school with their testing allowance, all because of some of these irregularities that were not properly looked at as a result of arrears and not capturing of some people's data. Now, the last time allowance was paid was just few weeks to the election. And this was paid to some students and not all. So as far as the NPP government is concerned, they will say they have restored trainee nurses and midwife allowance, but it didn't flow consistently because there were issues of arrears. However, recently, the new government that have taken up have not paid anyone allowance as of now. And I think our colleagues from the teacher training side raised concerns, and the Honorable Minister of Education, Honorable Aruna Idrisu, was interviewed, and he stated that as far as they are concerned, they haven't cancelled allowance, and for that matter, those that needs to be paid will be paid. However, they are going to have educational forum dialogue and to find a way, but he has a foresight or looking at it from an open point of view. Someone in the tertiary or nursing training or teacher training college should not be paid, should not be receiving allowance, but rather should be processed to benefit from student loan.
What is your opinion on that very thing?
I'm not able to quote his word verbatim. I'm just
But
paraphrasing.
yes.
Yes.
Because I've even heard the president say same that
Yes.
the trainees should be enrolled on the student loan trust and so on and so forth. What is your opinion on that subject?
Okay, so for me, I view the training nurses and midwife allowance from two different points of angles or different points of views. One, I am of the view that if we are taking a decision that we will not pay the trainee allowance, but such funds will be channeled towards recruitment of nurses and midwives, I will have no issue with the allowance being paid. Why am I saying so? If you are on allowance of 400 Ghana cedis, 400 times 8, that is for your first year. Second year, another 8 months, that is 16 months. Then your third year, that will give us 24 months or so. So within your 3 years stay in the nursing training colleges, they are receiving allowance for about 23 months or 24 months. And if we now calculate 400 cities by this 24 months, what you are going to receive at the end of the day will be insignificant as compared to if you complete and immediately there is readily available job for you, of which I believe that if we do the mathematics very well, a staff nurse is receiving somewhere 3,500 Ghana cedis. Your 2 months ideal salary will even cover all what you were paid as allowance for your 3 years of stay. By the end of the day, we keep saying that we are paying allowance, and when these people come out of school, they sit for 3-4 years without being recruited, and it's like they have been robbed of what they need to be given in a better proportion in the name of not having money, but we're rather paying training nurses and midwives allowance. So if we are going to take a decision that we are not going to pay training nurses and midwives allowance, but provisions will be made that immediately they are done with training, they are absorbed into their system and their salary is flowing, it will be more beneficial than the current system where we have you taste, they give you a token, then you complete and sit at home for 3 years, of which those 3 years salary would have been able to do better for you as compared to the peanut that was given to you. But if there is not going to be a deliberate policy or plan to address the situation in this regard, that is where we are delving deep into the rationale behind the payment of the allowance. And the ideal reason for the payment of the allowance is that nursing training is such that the moment you enroll onto the program, you do not have time to even help family members in terms of generating any income or revenue to cater for your fees or your clinical items. But these training nurses and midwives are expected to embark on mandatory clinical services. And way back 2019, 2018, 2019, the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives conducted a research to quantify the service that is being rendered by the training nurses and midwives as far as their clinical services are concerned. And it was revealed that the training nurses and midwives render 40% of total healthcare delivery in the country and are prone to all sort of infections that the regular staffs are prone to. They are prone to all sort of risks that the regular staffs are prone to. And for that matter, it is in the wisdom of such that these training nurses have to be given a token in a form of allowance. As they are on clinicals, they are expected to board cars to workplace and back home to feed themselves. These people are not able to help parents and are embarking on this service without any remuneration. At the end of the day, the motivation is not there. It makes it difficult. So these are the ideal reasons why the training nurses and midwife allowance was being instituted. So its relevance as far as the reason has not been outlived. Its ideal reason still stays valid because they are still rendering this care to Mother Ghana, and the service they are rendering has not gone below the 40%. Just as I gave a scenario that we have 4 nurses on duty attending to 34 patients. It means that one of us will have to check vital signs for all the 34 patients. One will have to write report, and 2 will be giving medications. But if we have these student nurses on clinicals, and I happen to have 2 students in my ward, it means that these 2 students, I can assign the vital signs to them. Then I'll give my other 2 colleagues in giving the medication. So now will be 3 people giving medication, while the in charge of the shift is writing the report on the patient, the critically ill patient. These services that these students are rendering is so great and enormous that we believe for such reason it's still valid for them to be paid allowance. But if we are now comparing the two, reasons are valid.
Yes.
But let's analyze receiving this peanut of allowance and sitting at home for 3 years without being employed. Just supposing that to not receiving and your immediate employment is assured. In terms of value for money, I will prioritize the idea of getting immediate recruitment after I am done with my training and mandatory national service.
Excellent. I couldn't have agreed with you more. And many a time, I mean, those who know me will tell and testify that I've been an advocate for the trainee nurses and for the nursing fraternity because I have a lot of nurses around me. And I do understand what you are saying. So when people try to compare the university system with the college system or the trainee system, I seem not to understand where they are coming from because over the period, we've had some student nurses who have even lost their lives as a result of how do you call medicating or taking care of a patient or something like that. They've lost
Yes,
their lives. And when this COVID-10 came, some student
yes,
nurses also were affected. Some
yes,
even, I heard that even lost their lives as well. So when it comes to trainee students, they are very different from someone who's trained just to acquire knowledge. But trainee nurses are trained to acquire knowledge and skill. That is why
yes.
it's dangerous to let them stay home, like teachers, soldiers, and so on and so forth. You can't train a soldier and let him stay home. What do you think is going to happen? So for that, I do agree 100% as far as the allowance term is concerned, and I don't even believe in the idea that someone who is starting life should start with a loan. I have a different opinion on the subject, but we thank you very much for your time, Mr. President. I still call you Mr. President because you're a former president or national president of the student body. But people, my final submission would be people also say that it looks as if your front, the Jemta front, is not as vibrant as they used to be in your days, Akazi, and so on and so forth. I mean, things have changed. Do you agree?
Very well, I agree 100%. And there is no better way to describe it than to say Jimta is in a state of coma at the
Absolutely.
moment. Yes.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
as we are wrapping up, I actually would plead to give me some few minutes to highlight another key component that is
Okay.
actually a worrying
Okay.
situation.
Okay.
Yes, you realize that these nurses and midwives that are undergoing national service that we refer to as rotation, they are expected to be given financial clearance for their service allowance to be paid. The diploma trained nurses and midwives on national service are not paid through the NSS. They are paid through the Controller and Accountant General. And per that procedure, Ministry of Health have to always request for financial clearance from Ministry of Finance. As we talk, they are currently on rotation or service for almost 8 months without a penny. And some of their seniors have completed national service even without receiving allowance. But these people their voices are not being heard. So I am pleading and seeking to use this important medium to bring to the attention of the government that the current 2023 batch of nurses and midwives that are undergoing their national service are almost in their 8th month. They started May 2024, but they have not received a penny. Their financial clearance has not been released yet. It means they don't even know when they are going to receive allowance. Meanwhile, these people are expected to rent, to pick cars on daily basis to work and to feed themselves. They are spending the same number of hours that regular staff are spending on duty. They are running all the 3 different type of shifts: morning, afternoon, and evening shift. Meanwhile, they are going to work on empty stomach. Some are begging senior colleagues for transportation and others. Some come, and you as a senior colleague in the ward, when you are going to buy lunch, you have to buy for your junior alongside. And it's not easy. It's frustrating to them. So I am bringing this to the attention of the health minister, Honorable Akando, to please look into the matter of the diploma nurses and midwives who are on national service or rotation, to ensure that their financial clearance is granted for them to get their service allowance. It's frustrating. A lot of them are in the ward, but sometimes they are absent-minded. It's a worrying situation. And all these things, I believe, are happening because our days, Jimta will stand in and speak on behalf of all these people. But as you rightly put it in your closing submission, that Jimta seems not to be vibrant as it used to be. It is all because some of our junior colleagues have decided to take a path where they believe that in leadership you have to be politically aligned. And currently, the reason why Jimta is in a state of coma is because we've had some year group of leaders who have decided to affiliate themselves politically. And it made them to be a toothless bulldog where they only bark but they cannot bite. And this has been the reason. At the moment as we talk, the current leadership of Jimta, that is Pascal-led administration, took over from Elijah somewhere 2021. Yes, 2021, and it is expected that by 2022, Pascal should have handed over. But Pascal was not able to hand over, and somewhere last year, in attempt to hand over, or by organizing a congress, some people from MPP, I'll be very blunt, the likes of Denis Apiolabi, came there in the name of a former NUCS president and came to destabilize the whole process, all in the name that...
Who was that again?
Denis Apiolabi.
Okay.
He's a current communicator of the NPP and a former NUCS president. Yes, I saw him at the Congress grounds, and Jimta is not affiliated to NUCS. So I see no reason why a former NUCS president who comes there and is not coming to behave as a statesman, but rather coming to show a political interest. And at the end of the day, they were not able to have a successful Congress. And the likes of me, when I went for my vetting in NUCS, this question was raised. And when some of us heard of it, we came in there, we made it clear that you have no business here. Jimta should remain Jimta as it is, and they need for them to conduct their elections. But they saw that some of us came to resist what they wanted to do, and they couldn't have their way, hence making it difficult for the handing over to be done. So at the moment, it is something I am pursuing, pushing through the Mother Union GRNM so that we can conduct a fresh election and have leaders for these training nurses and midwives to advocate for their welfare. It is a worrying situation and is very dear to my heart. Until that is done, Jimta will continue to be in a state of coma. I received a petition from some of the local executives, the SRC presidents and the nursing training colleges, petitioning we as ex-officials to step into the matter and see how we can help them form a new leadership by organizing Congress. And we are pushing it. So we hope that in few days to come, we will get a new set of leadership for Jimta, whilst we pray that moving forward, in my closing submission, I'll be the happiest person to see that the nursing profession remains apolitical. Nursing should not be politically influenced as far as our recruitment process is concerned. We are an essential service provider, and I'm of the view that government should prioritize and value the essential services that we are rendering and make the posting of nurses a fluid system that should flow for us to meet the nurse-to-patient ratio of Mother Ghana as far as the WHO standard is concerned, and also come up with innovative approaches where we can export some of our nurses to other countries for them to earn a decent living and also aid the country to gain something in return for investing in the training of nurses and midwives. If we establish this process, there wouldn't be the need for us to have a quota system in the training, because we know that we have the capacity to train. And if we continue with this same capacity and we have established a medium of recruitment, we can continue to train as many as we can, and government will keep earning something to cushion what it is spending in training, and citizens will continue to have a good source of livelihood. And this will go a long way to address the unemployment situation in the country. And ultimately, I am of the view that anybody that comes to lead the Ministry of Health should also put his ears on the ground and listen to the genuine voices that are revealing facts, and not be tilted towards political apparatchiks who will come to the Ministry of Health to say that I am an NDC person, and for that matter, consider what I'm saying. Let's listen to the facts. And it is always clear. When you see what is true and what is false, you'll be able to decipher. Some of us will continue to advocate for the nursing profession, and on daily basis, we will speak truth to power where we believe the profession first. Political alienation can be secondary, but the profession first.
The profession first. You're welcome. Thank you so much, former president of JEMTA. I'm so grateful that you've made time on this very day on Enoch Connect. Well, viewer, listener, I believe you've heard all the deep revelations, and let's all try our best possible to see that we can make this profession a noble profession as is known. I've always been an advocate for the nurses because I have a lot of them around me, as I said. And it's sad that we try, as a country, we are reading politics into things and trying to introduce politics in all avenues of life, which for me is very, very bad. Let's try and save our nation beyond partisan politics. Thank you very much, Mr. President Santi, for your time. My name is Enoch Iju, and same time next week, we'll come your way with Enoch Connect. It's bye for now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.